What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Nothing But Skills, and today I'm bringing you guys another division video. Today's video is going to be focused on the build I still think is the best PvE build in the game for either solo or team play. Now, yes, there's a lot of great builds out there, but if you look at this video right now, you can see that this build does a lot of damage and has a lot of sustainability because you get those stacks up. It still works great in PvE. Now, in PvP, this build did get nerfed, but in PvE, the 6-piece classified striker set is still amazing, and if you spec it for PvE, it's just amazing. We're going to get into this build in just a second. Remember, if you guys have any questions after watching this build video, use the comment section down below. If you found this video useful, hit the thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel, first time watching one of my videos, hit that subscribe button. So let's get into the build. The first thing you're going to notice is my primary firepower is 279,000. That's firearms of 5,300. My toughness is 506,000. That's stamina of 6,500. And my skill power is 119,000. That's electronics of 3,900. Now, why is this build so good for PvE? Well, they didn't nerf it at all. With having set bonus 3 that gives you 10% enemy armor damage, and having set bonus 5 of 5% enemy armor damage, that's an additional 15% enemy armor damage, plus you get striker's persistence. So it's still really easy to build those stacks and hold those stacks with this build on the PvE side. The way I have my chest modded is it's rolled stamina, the major attribute is health, enemy armor damage, ammo capacity. So one thing you're gonna notice on this build, I have a lot of enemy armor damage and I have damage to elites stacked throughout this build. For the mods, I'm running electronics mods with 4% damage to elite. Yes, 4% damage to elite mods are the max purple mods you can get. They don't have damage to elite mods on gold mods, and the reason why I am running electronics, you guys might ask that, is because I do want to unlock one talent on my weapon, and I needed to have at least 3,800, but that talent is really worth it. So I'll show you that in just a second when I break down this lightweight M4. For the mask, it's rolled stamina, the major attribute is enemy armor damage, and the minor attribute is blind death resistance. This is the one attribute I would like to get rid of, and I would love to have damage to elites here. Let's look at one of my PvE masks for Sentry Call. I have enemy armor damage and damage to elites. That's a god roll for PvE. Now, if I could only get a mask that has damage to elites on here, that would be an additional 12% damage to elites already stacked on all the damage to elites I have on this build, and I'll show you guys that near the end of the video. For the mods, I have electronics mods with those 4% damage to elite mod. For the knee pads, it's rolled stamina. The major attribute is 4% enemy armor damage. The minor attributes are burn resistance, increased kill XP, and damage to elites. So you have damage to elites on here, and you have enemy armor damage. Like I told you, those are the two things you want to stack on mostly every single one of your PvE builds. Now, I could get rid of increased kill XP, but since this is a PvE build, it really doesn't bother me too much. For the mods, I'm running electronics mods with 4% damage to elites, and for the performance mods, I'm running 5% support station healing speed. Now, this build is spec'd for solar resistance. If you guys want to get to wave 10 and then open up that resistant cache 3 times, this is how you want to have it spec'd. A lot of times, if I'm running solo, I'll run a support station. If I'm running in a group and we're doing legendary missions or we're doing any other incursions, then I'll switch this out to 6% first aid self-heal and then run an overdose. For the holster, the major attribute I have on here is 4% critical chance. Now, this is really up to you. You can put health on here, you can put skill haste, just depending on how you want to spec your build. I want to hit a little bit harder with this build, and I want to have a chance of hitting those critical hit damage shots, right? So that's why I do have 4% critical hit chance on the holster. For the mods, I'm running those 5% support station healing speed mods. For the gloves, it's rolled firearms. It has enemy armor damage and assault rifle damage. Now, these are the two rolls you want to have on here because you are going to be using an assault rifle and you are going to have that enemy armor damage, because stacking enemy armor damage throughout this build, at the end of this video, you're going to see how much enemy armor damage I have. Now, the critical hit chance here, this is something you can switch, but see, I have 6% here. I have 4% on the whole, so that's an additional 10% critical hit chance. Now, if you're not going to put critical hit chance here, you can put skill haste here, and then you can put skill haste on the holster. Really up to you. You guys play with this and decide what you really want. For the backpack, it's rolled firearms. The major attribute on this one is health, and the minor attribute is ammo capacity. Now, I like having ammo capacity on my chest piece and my backpack. I feel like I run out of ammo a lot, and even when I run a support station that has an ammo cache, I still get low on ammo, so having ammo capacity on the backpack and on the chest piece for me is a benefit. For the major attribute, you can switch this out to critical hit damage if you want. You can switch it out to really much anything you want. I feel that having a little bit of health on here is going to push me past 500,000 toughness, and at the end, it's going to help me stay alive a little bit longer, even on the PvE side. For the mods, I'm running those electronics mods with 4% damage to elites. So you just saw I stacked 5 of these. That's 20% extra damage to elites just from these mods. And then those performance mods, 5% support station healing speed. I stacked 4 of these, so that's 20% support station healing speed. So that's why it's really good. If you're going to run a support station, I would put these support station healing speed mods on. If you're not and you're going to run something like an overdose, 6% first aid self-heal. Now for the weapons that really make this build, my lightweight M4 has 24% enemy armor damage. All assault rifles come with enemy armor damage. That's why running an assault rifle in PvE is really good. No matter what assault rifle you run, you always have that enemy armor damage, and enemy armor damage is really good against NPCs. This one is fully optimized, 24% enemy armor damage, base damage 18.6k. Now the talents I have are great for PvE. Predatory, killing a target regenerates 35% health over 20 seconds. This is going to be really good, especially since I have a build that has survivability and it has high DPS. The great thing about this is the healing on the striker. If I do get a kill, then I'm going to have predatory active, and that's going to regenerate 35% of my health over 20 seconds. Every time I get a kill, it's just going to keep resetting. Now, the two talents that are great for PvE, and I always recommend using them for PvE, ferocious damage against elite and named enemies is increased by 10%, and that's why I do have 3,832 electronics plus, because I want to have this talent unlocked. Now you could have ferocious in the bottom slot, destructive in the middle slot, and then predatory, and then you could put more into stamina, but I kind of like having electronics, honestly. I like having that heal. Like if I run an overdose, my heal is going to be pretty good, and then I love having electronics for my skills, right? So having 3,900 electronics really doesn't bother me too much, and for the PvE side, I've been running it like this since day one. And then of course, that last talent I was talking about, destructive armor destruction values increased by 15% when using this weapon. So if we check out how I have the lightweight M4 modded, I have the C79 scope with 18% critical damage, 5.5 headshot damage, 2.5 critical chance. I have a rifle suppressor with 18% headshot damage, 4% critical damage, 3% critical chance. The small grip, I have 19% critical damage, 2% accuracy, 2.5 stability. And then for the extended magazine, I have 120% magazine size, critical hit chance, and critical hit damage. Now you could put rate of fire on here instead of critical damage. Now for my secondary, my house is modded for PvE. So this one isn't fully optimized. The base critical chance on this one is 21.5. The base damage is 16.8k. Now the talents I have are built for PvE. So I have predatory, killing target regenerates 35% health over 20 seconds. What I could do, if I want this to hit really hard, I could take off predatory, put ferocious. I would have ferocious on here, and then I'll get the extra 10% damage. But since I want to have a gun that is my backup that can still give me predatory and have that ability active, that's why I have predatory on here. Now I have destructive armor destruction values increased by 15% when using this weapon. Another great talent for PvE. And then of course, every house comes with card counter. The way I have this mod is almost the same as my lightweight M4. I have critical hit damage, critical hit chance, optimal range. Now you can switch out the optimal range for headshot damage. I have a loud vent break with 18% critical damage, 6% headshot damage, 2.5 critical hit chance. A small grip with critical hit damage, reload speed, accuracy, and then an extended magazine with magazine size, critical hit damage, critical hit chance. Now for your abilities, your skills, your talents, this is what you can really switch up on this build, just depending on what you're doing. So this is how I have it spec'd for when I do solo resistance. I run an ammo cache support station. This is going to come back every 34 seconds, and it's going to heal me at 3,600 health points per second. Now I stack that with a turret because in resistance, a lot of times you're backed in a corner and you have something to slow down those shotgunners. This is going to come back every 60 seconds. The lifetime of it is 45 seconds. So there's 15 seconds I have to make up for. But I run one talent that extends my flame turret and extends my ammo cache. We'll talk about that in a second. And I always run a recovery link when I'm running solo. It's like your backup plan, right? Now, if I'm running in a group, I'm not going to run a support station. Most likely we have a medic. I'm going to run something like a first aid, overdose, and then I'll have those 6% first aid self-heal mods throughout my build. For talents, these are the same thing. You can change up your talents depending on what you're running. When I'm running solo, I run critical save, use make hits during low health to increase damage resistance by 20% for 10 seconds. I run tech support. Now this is what I was talking about, that the lifetime on my flame turret and my ammo cache is going to be extended because of tech support. Kill a hostile while any skill is deployed to extend any active skill's duration by 10%. So that's every single kill will extend it by 10%. That's what's really good about tech support and running it when you're running a resistance or when you're running solo missions in general. I always have precision on most of my builds because headshot a hostile to pulse him for 10 seconds. That's increased critical chance and critical hit damage. And then this talent is the one you can mess around with and move around on the move. Kill a hostile while moving to reduce incoming damage by 15% for 10 seconds. So since in resistance, a lot of times you're backed in a corner and you're camping and you're fighting NPCs as they're rushing you, I would probably take off on the move and put on something like wildfire. Applying burn to any target triggers a 30% chance per each target within a 10-meter radius. But if I'm doing something with a group and I'm not going to be running tech support because I'm not running an ammo cache, I would take that off. I would run on the move. And then the other talent I would run is strike back, reach low health to reduce active skill cooldowns by 20%. So if we get into my stats, you're going to see on my lightweight M4, I have 18.5 critical chance, 70% critical damage, and 99% headshot damage. That's a lot of damage without having any enemy armor damage and without having damage to elites and just having the stats on my build. My damage to elites is 46%. So I'm almost hitting 50% extra damage on elite and named enemies. And look at my enemy armor damage, 80%. So I'm eating through that armor. That's why having enemy armor damage and damage to elites on your builds, you hit so hard even with only 5,300 firearms. And then you stack that with striker. When you build those stacks up, you can see how hard you're hitting. Now, like I told you, if I had the extra 12% damage to elites on the mask, that would be 58% damage to elites, right? Because that's the max you can get on a mask. So that's where I'm missing on this build. I could have almost 60% damage to elites stacked on this build with enemy armor damage of 80%. That's just amazing. So the one piece, if you guys do have it, most of you guys might have it, damage to elites on the mask is what you want to go for. And that's how I have my build, guys. This is how I run my PvE striker. I've been running this PvE striker since 1.8 and I haven't really switched it up. Even in 1.8.3, it feels the same. Even though we got a slight nerf to the healing rate, you barely notice it. And you guys can see in the video that my stacks stay up. My damage is still there. I'm just eating through those NPCs, and that's why this build is so good. A lot of you guys have been asking me about this build. A lot of you guys have been saying, hey, do you have your PvE striker up on your YouTube page? And it's the one PvE build I never made a build video for. I just never thought about it. I never thought about putting it up, but recently I've been running it a lot on PC, and when I do stream, I've been farming over there because I don't have a lot of gear sets over there. You guys have been like asking me, hey, what is the PvE striker build that you're running, because I don't see it up on your YouTube channel? Well, here you go. If you guys still have any questions about this build, use the comment section down below. Remember, you can always watch me live on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/nothingbutkills. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, first time watching a video, hit the subscribe button. Turn the notification bell on so when I do release a video, you guys get notified. And thank you guys again for supporting every video, even when it's not the division. I truly appreciate it. Thank you guys again. And as always, if you don't see me in Last Stand, if you don't see me in Skirmish, if you don't see me in the Dark Zone, it's only a matter of time. Nothing but skills out.